So you're learning to drive, huh? All right. So I've gone through this process with a motorbike and a car, and I passed both of them first time, fortunately. And the best advice I could give you is book your theory test and revise every single day up until that point. Even if it's only for 20 minutes or half an hour, every day you need to be revising every single day. And I set myself a target of I'm not going into this exam until I get a minimum of 48 out of 50, for example. I don't know how much it is now because it's changed and I've been driving quite some time now, but I'm not going to enter this exam until I'm getting a minimum of 48 out of 50. Repetition, repetition. That's the only way you're going to go into the exam with confidence. Now, once you've passed your theory test, you at the same time you could be doing your practical driving lessons as well, right? But once you're in the mind frame where you want to sit your driving practical test, book your driving practical test in about 3 months in advance. So if it's January now, book it for March or April. Give yourself some time and knock out the lessons in between that time. Now make sure you have the money, because you don't want to be like some of these people who they do 10 lessons or 20 lessons and then they don't do any lessons for 5 months and then they go back to no. Book your test in advance and work your way up to it and knock out the lessons, and make sure you know how to drive as well, because there are many people who they've said to me, oh, I've been failed 5 or 6 times, and I'm thinking like, damn, how do you fail your test of 5 or 6 times? And then when I've got in the car with them, I've understood why. They can't drive. When you get into the car with the examiner, they will know once you put your foot down on that clutch, because you better be doing a manual license. Once you put your foot down on that clutch and you slap that car into first gear and you pull away, they know whether or not they're in the car with a driver. They've examined thousands upon thousands of people, so they know. And you better be doing a manual test, because don't be like these people who shortcut and do half licenses. Oh, I'm going to do automatic because I can't be bothered to do manual. No, do the manual test. It's not hard to gain control over, to master the clutch and master the biting point. It's not difficult. Some idiot told me before I would never sit my exam in Barnet because there's hills and it's hilly. Do you think the world is flat? You better not be these dumb idiots who think, oh, the earth is flat. You're going to be driving up hills. And what happened? I sat my exam in Barnet and I passed first time. Through the skin of my teeth though, because I made a few mistakes. What happened was, it was raining, and obviously there was lots of water on the windshield, and I took off. And if you ever notice, when it rains outside, the car always fogs up on the inside, and I didn't apply the aircon straight away, so there's all this fog and all this steam in the car. But luckily I applied it at the right time, and then the examiner said that if I didn't apply it after that, he would have failed me. And another thing you should do as well, for your hazard perception, when you are the passenger in one of your friends, girlfriend, boyfriend car, whoever, right? Play the hazard perception game in your mind. So we all know what the hazard perception is. You've got the screen in front of you and it comes up with hazards and stuff. When you're the passenger of this car, pretend that you're in that exam. So look out for hazards. Look out for that idiot who's running across the street, jaywalking. Look out for that car that's pulling over. Look out for that car that's stopping in the middle of the road, slowing down when there's no reason for that person to slow down, right? So book your theory test, work your way up to that point, revise every single day, and keep revising for a minimal amount of time of like half an hour. Make it your life. With your car test, book your car test in 3-4 months in advance. Make sure you have the funds to sit all of those lessons and pay for that exam, so there are no breaks, and you should be fine. And make sure you're confident at driving as well. Get your driving instructor to give you mock driving tests as well. Funny enough, my driving instructor, he gave me mock driving tests and I failed all of them every single time. But he was really strict on me, but I failed every single one of them every single time. But lucky enough, I passed the real driving test first time and passed the real motorbike riding test first time as well. So it was just fortunate for me. If you like the video, subscribe. If you don't like the video, change your station.